Greetings and welcome to Spin a Yarn Live, the Tea Time Book Club and Crafting Circle. Where today we're talking about the 6th book in Dresden Files, Blood Rites.
Big book. In that many things happen.
So.
Not in that it's long. I mean, you know, it's like 400 and some pages. Anyway.
First of all, interact with the stream. You can go to Twitter at hashtag YarnItAll. Or you can go to Reddit at r/SpinAYarnLive, which I don't actually have up. So that's good.
So you could, but we ain't gonna say nothing to you.
Apparently. So, yes, let us know what you're working on. Mom has already preempted.
Well, preempted. We're late today.
By like 6 minutes. Let's see, Mom is working on... Just finished an Easter basket, and now she's back on working on her Afghan and drinking chai.
Chai is good. We are doing...
Chai is good, chai is life. No.
Herbal tea. Oh, guard is great, guard is good. We had an old Kung Fu instructor who used to say, guard is great, guard is good. Which is true, since one time I had my guard down and he kicked me in the chest.
Yes,
so that was interesting.
Okay, so you're pouring tea. So I'll start. I'm still working on this guy. I haven't touched it since last time. So.
You didn't work on it while we were out west?
No, I didn't bring it because I didn't want like all my needles and pins or. No. I don't trust the TSA to not think that a pin or a needle is a life-threatening.
They let me take all my tapestry needles.
Yeah. Anyways, so.
So, and I am still working on the pullover, the princess pullover from knitpicks.com for my friend, purple one. As you can see, I'm getting there. I've got a few more rows, 20 more rows until I start doing the armhole shaping.
And then what tea are we drinking?
So, while we were out west and Paul strapped, you know, big pieces of fiberglass to his feet for the very first time. He did well.
Not up yet.
He did well.
Yes.
He did well as a first-time skier. I was actually pretty impressed.
I did really well.
Yeah.
Day 1, my first green. Day 2, my first blue. Day 3, my first black.
He insisted on it, you guys. I did not push him. He insisted. I kept on going, are you sure? Are you sure? And he was like, ah!
And my second black won't be for many years.
Yeah, no, now he's traumatized.
No, it's fine.
In his defense...
Black wasn't that hard. It's just I'm clearly not
prepared.
I was ready to fail on a black. I did get to that level, so it's not like I just, as a novice, went, yay, black! No, I definitely was good enough on blues. I was like, I'm okay failing on a black.
He did really well on the blues. The thing is that we decided to go to a black that was on the top of a bowl, and you had to take a T-bar to get there. If you don't know what a T-bar is, look it up. He fell off.
It's a bar that looks like an upside-down T.
Yeah, and you know, you're supposed to get on like 2 people on either side.
But the people in front of us fell over, so I waited, but she stayed in position.
I went ahead, and I got on, so I was on by myself.
And then I got on by myself.
And then he fell off. He fell off when he was about halfway up the particular black that we were going to. Now,
like 3/4 of the way.
Yeah. Now look, if we had had more snow and conditions had been better, I think you would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But as it was, there's a lot of ice, and when there wasn't ice, there was either ground
or grass patches.
Yeah, grass patches with rocks and whatnot. Or you went to go put your skis back on, and you sunk like a couple of inches into a bunch of powder that you didn't even see.
Yeah.
So, the conditions for a first-timer weren't great. If we had gone to Peak 10, I think you would have had a better time. Because my cousin, brother, father, and I went out to Peak 10, which was all blacks. But it was very, very nice. Really, they were dark blues. But it was really nice. Anywho, whilst we were out west, skiing and Paul not breaking bones, which is good, we ran across 2 tea stores. Well, okay, one of them was like an olive oil store, but it also had vinegars and loose leaf tea, and another one was like a spice and tea trading thing, or merchant spice and tea trading. So the first one was Olive Fusion, so we're gonna do a couple of teas from them first. Here's their...
Watch this magic.
Here's their business card.
Ooh, business card.
Anyway, it's there. And you can go to their website and take a look. You can buy their teas and olive oils and vinegars online. Got a great white balsamic vinegar from them. Really, really tasty.
Hashtag not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored, but, you know, they got good
But we
stuff,
did enjoy
so, yeah.
lots of tasting olive oils, which she loved.
Delicious.
I'm not a big fan of olive oil or vinegar, so I didn't taste any.
Yeah, the vinegars. Anyway, so today we are trying their strawberries and cream organic. It is a herbal tea with rubius, strawberry, and raspberry leaves. So, let's see. I think it's cooled down enough. Have a little taste here.
Interesting.
Nice. You don't like it, do you?
No, it's good.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised. I do like it. As a herbal tea, it's quite nice. It's very light.
Definitely herbal.
Yeah. It's very light. I like it. I'm not going to say it's going to be one of my favorites, but it's good. I like it a lot.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway. Blood Rites. This is the book, ladies and gentlemen, where we figure out quite a few things.
Lots of things.
Big thing number 1. Thomas, of course. Here is the great big...
He is a big thing in his own mind.
Here is the great big thing that we've been, like, hinting at and talking about. Oh, I wonder why Thomas has always come to help Harry. Why? Well, here we go. Because Thomas is Harry's elder half-brother. He is Margaret Le Fay's firstborn son. So, that's the big one. That is a huge one, which will cause all kinds of shenanigans in the coming books. Obviously, at the end of this book, Laura, the eldest Wraith child, daughter, has now taken over the House of White.
Yep.
In that she is controlling her father now. Which isn't that just all kinds of weird?
Yeah, that whole situation super weird.
That whole situation.
Understandable why it was done the way it was for the White Court, but
for the White Court, what are you gonna do? But so there's that. So that's significant because Laura, even though, you know, she is a vampire and all this jazz, the Wraith siblings do actually pretty much care for one another. So because Laura cares about Thomas, and Thomas obviously cares about Harry, there's a trepidatious kind of, you know, a truce going on here. Like they said in the last chapter or two, when Laura and Harry are talking, they're like, all right, you know, we're going to set up a truce. We don't have to like each other, but we're going to be honest. We're going to be honest. We're going to be forthright. And, you know, that's the way it's going to be for now. So, this is an advantage. So this is great. You know, Harry has a sort of kind of partnership, ally-ish thing going on with the White Court, or at least with this section of the White Court.
Or at least non-aggression.
Yeah, it's not like he's at war with them like he is with the Red Court, which we'll get to that. Not in this book.
Yeah, we don't see the Red Court at all in this book, do we?
In this one, we don't. But we get the Black Court. We get some of the Black Court. Mavra shows up again and maybe is dead.
Yeah, totes killed her. Well, yes.
Black Court vampires. What are you gonna do? Anyway, so we get that situation. So that's interesting. We get to reveal a little bit more about Kincaid, about Ivy's bodyguard, the mercenary Kincaid. We realize that Ebenezer McCoy and he go back. We learned that Margaret Le Fay was Ebenezer's apprentice, which was very interesting. What else? And we get Mouse. So throughout the entirety of the book, Harry's got this little tiny puppy that he keeps in the pocket of his duster, which is already just a totally adorable, you know, visualization. This itty bitty puppy and this, you know, 6'7" dude.
Of course, you know, Murphy won't just, you know, let it be cute. She's like, is that a puppy in your pocket? Or
yeah, right. I love that. We get a little bit more with Murphy and Harry. Like when,
a little bit more banter, a little bit more companionship.
Yes. And then like with Kincaid when they're gonna defuse the bomb and Kincaid's like taking Murphy's pants off and that kind of stuff. And Harry gets irrationally angry and he's, you know, he does the logical stuff in his brain, and he's like, well, has to defuse a bomb. There's nothing sexual about it, you know, and even if there was, it's her, blah, 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 blah. But he's still angry. And he's just like...
Which
doesn't really build to anything in this book. But
even in future books...
Not very much.
There's... So...
They get closer. They do get closer. But it's not a will they, won't they situation like Friends with Ross and Rachel. Right. It's not overpushed. It's more like... It's like... There's the potential, maybe. We'll see what's going on. Yeah. Of course, I won't spoil what ends up happening with their relationship, but... But, like, it's definitely more... As comrades in arms, they've grown closer together. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Definitely as comrades in arms, they've grown closer together. Yeah. But so throughout the entire book, Harry's got this little puppy in his pocket. And, you know, he's like, I'm not keeping him. Obviously, by the end of the book, he's like, fine, whatever. He's smaller than Mister. He's smaller than the cat. And he seems to like Harry and, you know, all this stuff. So he's like, oh, all right, we'll keep the dog. And, of course, the last line of the book is, Tom, why did, you know, to Thomas, who went out and bought a bunch of stuff, he was like, why did you buy large breed dog chow? And in the next book, which I'm so excited to get to, but we're not going to get to it for a long time, we get to see, it's not really that much of a spoiler. The dog is not a small breed dog. It is a large dog, and it is really, really cute. And I can't wait for us to get to Deadbeat with Sue.
Yeah, but we have something like 6 episodes before then.
We have a lot. And
I don't know why I planned it that way.
And there's a gap in the middle because we will be off celebrating our anniversary because we're lovey-dovey pit people. And we're going to be off celebrating our anniversary. So we won't get to talk about it.
That'll be 3 weeks off the channel?
2. Because because we leave on a Tuesday and come back on a Tuesday. So we'll be 2 weekends out. And then when we come back...
No, we leave on a Tuesday... Which means we're not going to get to that weekend.
Right, and then we've got another full week.
We leave on a Tuesday?
Yes, we leave on a Tuesday. We leave Tuesday the 10th.
Okay, we're doing 2 weeks, but split up.
Correct.
Okay.
That way my work doesn't suffer so much because somebody gone 2 full weeks in a row because especially there's just a lot going on. It's going to be crazy. But anyway, so... Deadbeat is a really, really fun book. I might just go ahead and read it and then read it again when we get closer to it. Because it's just a fun book. Not that I have finished Summer Night or Death Masks yet. I mean, I remembered what happened in both of them. But I still need to read them because I'm not fully, don't remember everything. So,
and you're not going to get a chance this upcoming week.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But anyway, that's another thing that happens that's fairly significant is Harry's left hand gets totally burned, with the exception of a small portion of his palm, which has the sigil of one of the fallen angels you remember how he picked up the coin? Was it last book? Yeah, the end of Death Masks.
Last book, and he buried it, and instead of giving it to Michael and the church, he decided to keep it and bury it and put it behind all these magical wards and whatnot. But yeah, now Bob's like, so why have you been throwing around hellfire?
Yeah. He's like, okay, I can't find Laciel, I think is her name? Laciel, there we go, Laciel.
Due to reasons in future books, I think it's Laciel.
Laciel, yeah.
Which...
Oh, yeah, because of... Right. Yes. Okay. So,
which
yeah, we're going to say Laciel.
I do find interesting. I always... When reading these books, we get these fallen names, and I tried, Googling them, like, are they actual angels? Because Michael, well, the Archangel Michael is an actual thing. Gabrielle is one, a legit one. So I was like, oh, is Laciel one? But no, Jim Butcher just made up all the
fallen names?
Most of the fallen names. I don't know if any are actually real. I think, like, Uriel might actually be real.
Uriel sounds like a real one. Well, because how many are there? 25? 26?
I thought it was 30. I don't remember. There's some significant number.
Yeah, and I mean, we're obviously not done with them at all. We will revisit them down the line. Probably not the next book, though.
But what I was saying is, when I was reading, I was always impressed with these names. It's like, man, he's really good at coming up with names that sound like they would fit that mythos. Mm-hmm. And I actually saw a YouTube this past week. I have no idea why, but one of the mentions of it was that the EL at the end in like Hebrew or some old part of the Abrahamic religions, the EL at the name is basically means of God. So that's why you get all the angel names like Michael and Gabriel and Lashiel works. It's all this EL at the end is what kind of makes it they were of God. They were angels.
So remember, in The Little Mermaid, Ariel.
That's true.
But anyway,
2, 3.
So then, and even beyond that, we get more. We learn more again about Ebenezer McCoy, who is also known as Blackstaff McCoy, and is essentially the White Council's assassin or retainer. He's the assassin on retainer, as it were, and that's why they left Harry to be with him, because they were like, okay, we know that Harry
if he acts up.
Right, we know...
Assassin.
we know that Harry is Margaret Le Fay's son. So if he's going to turn out to be like her and to have even her amount of power, we know McCoy can shut him down. Yeah. Obviously, McCoy doesn't.
Chose not to.
Gives him the benefit of the doubt. And we kind of see why. Because if Margaret was his apprentice, then, he sort of has a kind of a relationship with Harry already. We also find out that Lord Wraith... What's his first name?
I don't know.
Lord
it said in the book.
Yeah, it did.
But I forgot.
Yeah, because all throughout the book, Harry just refers to him as Wraith. Yeah, when he's doing his narration. So we find out that Lord Wraith, in fact, killed Margaret Le Fay. So she did die in childbirth, but that was because she was killed while giving birth to Harry. And her death curse that she laid out actually had a very slow... kind of was a slow, drawn-out death, as it were, for Lord Wraith, in that he can never feed from anybody again, and he's weak, and he's depleting his power source, and yada yada.
I mean, which does speak to how powerful he was, that he's still, after 30 years or so...
Yeah, however old Harry is at this point.
Has decent amount of power.
Exactly. Not enough that, after all the shenanigans that happened, Laura isn't able to be like, Guess what, Daddy?
And as long as Thomas and Dresden stay alive, Lord Wraith is always going, because it's been tied to their bloodline.
Because it's been tied to the bloodline, which makes her an interesting point, but we'll get back to that later. But the interesting point is, of course, that if either of them have a kid, then it still continues.
That's true.
So if there's a child, it still continues. Now,
interesting, because we do know that white courts can have children.
They can have children. Thomas doesn't, obviously.
Which is something that in vampire lore, things that are close to, like black courts, it's always a question in lore whether vampires can or can't have children, because...
some contention in certain current pre-teen...
And then, of course, there's the whole Vampire the Masquerade, which is like, yes, a male vampire can, do things, but they need to drink blood in order to supply blood to the right organs.
Why would you say that right when I take a sip?
Because it is hilarious.
But yeah, so it's interesting. So it is interesting to note, as Paul said, that white court vampires can reproduce in a normal human way. Yes. Also interesting to note that Inari, the youngest child of the Wraith family, she, Laura had an agreement with Harry and was basically like, okay, she's been informed and she can make her own decision, and it looks like Inari is not going to become a white court vampire. Yeah. The potential is there, but it's not.
Which is interesting that when you're still a child of the white court, you can decide whether to become an immortal vampire or stay human.
And effectively kill the hunger the first time you actually have intercourse with someone you truly love. Which made for a very fun twist when halfway through the book. See, now when I read this, remember, we always thought...
It's such a big thing that it feels like it's an end of the book thing.
It is such a big thing. But so we thought, Justine sacrificed herself for Thomas. Which was, it's very sweet and everything. And, oh no, Justine. Oh gosh, she's still alive. Well, this is great. And then Thomas goes to see her. And he can't touch her. Because they are actually in love. Yeah. So... And since she's... her last embrace
was
with the one that she
love.
Truly loved. He can't touch her. And it's just like, that is not fair.
But it's also really interesting, like, when Laura was talking about, having given Justine how Lord Wraith gave Justine to Thomas to heal him, knowing that Thomas would end up killing her, because when you're that far gone and you're feeding to regain power, you cannot stop. And now Laura has seen that Thomas did stop. Now she'll probably figure out why, but
she already knows they were siblings.
Who's...
No. That Harry and Thomas...
No. Okay. She'll probably figure out that Thomas stopped because Justine and him were in love.
He knows that.
Okay, that's fine.
Because nobody else can touch her. Alright, sorry.
What I'm trying to say is when it first happens, when we realize... when everybody realizes that Justine is still alive, there's a question about how powerful Thomas was, that he was able to stop at the last moment, because you're not supposed to be able to do that. At the very beginning, when that just immediately happened, that was a huge question. Like, is he really so powerful that he can stop in the middle of a life-saving feeding? But of course, no, what happened is they were in love, and probably what happened is during that, the love actually took place, and then all of a sudden started burning Thomas, making him, even though he couldn't control it, all of a sudden he was being burned by it.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, is he didn't consciously stop.
You don't think so?
In my opinion, I think he stopped because that was the moment where the love took hold, and all of a sudden he would burn himself by touching her, so he instinctually broke it. I don't think he consciously stopped feeding.
Okay.
That's my thought.
That's an interesting thought. My thought is that he's also the son of a rather powerful witch.
True.
And
that's true too.
That was something that was enabling him to be able to come to himself at the last moment and pull away.
True. So we need a book theory on that.
So we need a book theory. We're not stealing anything from you, GT, we promise.
Unless you want us to.
Oh my god. But so that was my theory. My theory is that because he is half white vampire, half powerful, or has the blood of a powerful witch in him, he's able to surpass or get through certain things. Because even in future books, when certain things, well, never mind.
Right.
But it's like, to me, the fact that he is Margaret Le Fay's son, as well, should not be something that's overlooked. What I find interesting is that, that was my watch. Sorry, I was like, there's nothing on my arm in the camera. What I find interesting is that everyone talks about how incredibly powerful Margaret Le Fay was.
Mm-hmm.
And, not exactly because she had kind of her fingers in every pie. I mean, now we know she was hanging around with wraiths. She obviously spent a lot of time with the Fae, and all this stuff.
And of course she was trained by...
she was trained by Blackstaff, and all this stuff. It's surprising that her firstborn son, Thomas, doesn't seem to have inherited much in the way of magical talent. Other than the fact that he is a white court vampire. Now, maybe when he was younger and first fed the hunger, capital H, that surpassed, or not surpassed, but maybe smothered some of his magical ability. Because Harry obviously has inherited
a lot of power.
Yeah, maybe not the full brunt of her power, but quite a bit.
One of the book theories of the White Court is, if you do choose to become a vampire instead of saying human... Well, no, because we see in Thomas's soul that he and the demon are still both there.
And they're both kind of fighting for control, which, again, is why I had the theory of, well, the LaFay blood is helping him to fight.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, because he was ready to just pack it in at the end of the book after his neck was broken. And, he was just like, better this way. My brother is safe. My little brother. Okay. Yeah. Harry is taller, but remember, he's young. My little brother is now safe, so it's fine. And Harry was like, but Justine is alive. And he's like, what? And he pulls himself out. So it's very much Justine is his anchor, which is good, in that she's not dead.
That is always good.
Yes. It's very, very good.
Of course, Laura knows how important Justine is to Thomas. So either whatever reason Thomas broke, Laura knows that Justine is important to Thomas, and Thomas is capable of stopping.
Yes.
That. So yeah, there's a lot of power, and yeah, so she's kind of holding that card.
She's holding that card, but as I said, she cares a lot about her brother, and she's made the promise that nothing's going to happen to Justine. Now, granted, nothing can happen in that Justine cannot be taken by another white vampire.
Yeah.
Which is good. But she also said that she's going to keep her safe. And she's going to help her out. And we did see at the end of the book that she's getting better. She was sketching. She was smiling. She was tired and obviously very, very weak. But she seemed to be getting better. And spoiler alert, she does very slowly get a little bit better in the books down the road. I don't see that as much of a spoiler because we saw her getting better even by the end of this book. So anyway, so that's cool. Let's see. Kincaid and Ebenezer know each other. We know that Kincaid is in fact older than Ebenezer. I might have already said that. But I thought that was very interesting. And when Harry is using his sight to look at the to look at the thralls when they're going to attack the black vamps and all that, the blamps. Is that what he called them? The blamps? Yeah.
Maybe.
He called them the blamps, and Ebenezer is like, which was very funny. I like that. We saw, which we've seen before with Murphy. She's very much this shining, brilliant, flaming Valkyrie of an angel kind of thing.
Which we do see again in this book.
Right, exactly. But she's bleeding. She has been wounded psychically a couple of times. So we see that. But then we see Kincaid, for briefly, and he's not human.
Towering demon.
He's a towering demon. He's got curled horns, big black bat-like wings that drag on the ground, feet behind him. And
this is a future book, so we can't spoil anything.
What?
Somebody.
How do you say it without spoilers?
I know.
We'll just have to discuss it later.
Yeah.
But so we see that, so that's very interesting. That we just kind of thought Kincaid was this mercenary for hire, but no, he is totes not human.
He was still like a super powerful mercenary.
He was,
if he was human, because he was in charge of babysitting the archive.
The archive, no, absolutely. I'm not saying he wasn't powerful, but up until this point, we had reason to believe he was just someone who trained his entire life.
Yeah, Batman style.
Exactly, but in fact, no, this guy is clearly not human.
Yeah.
His true colors are very, very dark.
Which makes me wonder, how long has he babysitted the archives?
Oh yeah, maybe that's what he does.
This archive the first one he babysitted, or has it been
maybe
kind of an ongoing thing?
We don't know, but we did learn when Harry was talking to Ebenezer, we did learn that he used to work for the Black Court. Specifically, he used to work for Dracul. So for Vlad Dracul. So not Dracula, but Dracula's daddy.
Yeah.
So he used to work for him as his bodyguard or something like that. So that was kind of cool.
Which, if you actually know historical facts, that kind of ruins things. Mythological Dracula is much...
Oh, yeah,
it's very different.
But, because Vlad the is Vlad the Impaler Dracul or Dracula?
Son of Dracul.
Okay,
Dracul means dragon.
Right.
And because the father joined the anti-Ottoman Empire and slayed God knows how many Muslims, and became part of this Christian organization like the Order of the Dragon. And he was given the name of the Dragon, or Dracul in Romanian or Moldovan or whatever language they spoke back at that time. And then Vlad Tepes, was Dracula's son, or Dracul's son, so Dracula.
Yeah.
So basically, son of the dragon is...
Right. Now the point is that...
he tried to be like Daddy.
He tried to be like Daddy. But here in the, title of Vlad the Impaler, because of what he liked to do. Anyway. It's not pleasant. You can Google it if you want, but but it's interesting to note that that's an interesting sound. That Kincaid, that's what he did before he became the Archives bodyguard. So, and it's interesting to note that he and Blackstaff totally hate each other. So, that's fun.
Well, what's also interesting, this demon of a assassin who's been around for centuries, who's guarding the archive, when McCoy says, "Get out of here, if I ever see you again I will kill you," Kincaid actually stays away.
Yeah, he does.
He mentions that's why you've never seen me until now.
Yeah, exactly. It follows that, well, clearly McCoy is a lot more imposing. Like, Harry always knew he was powerful. I mean, he was his teacher, He always knew that he was a very respected member of the council. Now he's on, the Supreme Council. He's a little higher up now.
He doesn't want to be, but he
doesn't want to be. Which is weird, because if he's the assassin on retainer, how is he even able to get
also
into that position?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. But that was...
That may not have been thought of until this book.
Yeah. What are you going to do? I will say this about Jim Butcher. In this particular series, I haven't read his others, and he's got at least 2 others, I believe. In this particular series, his continuity is very good.
Yes.
It seems to me like he is extremely familiar with the books that are already written, and definitely builds upon them.
Yeah. And he definitely has a plan, because he's He
had
wanted it to be a
20-book series.
Indefinite series.
Right. He had said it's going to be a 20-book series and then a final trilogy. So 23 books in total.
Which is helpful for us, because we know we will eventually
actually end this particular one. Whereas with Mercy Thompson, we haven't started that one yet. But
and One Piece, we already have planned the first 30 episodes of One Piece.
And we're still not really even caught up to where things are. So, that just keeps going. But that's really cool. And I don't really want to stop. It'll be really sad.
I know.
I'll be really upset. But anyway. So unlike some books, continuity can get a little miffed.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I have read the Harry Potter series more times than, I lost count somewhere around, I don't know, 12th.
Mom's Easter basket is done.
12th or 13th read through. I lost count somewhere around then. But having read it through like that, and it's not like with Butcher or with Patricia Briggs, who, I'm going to say try, because at this point Jim has fallen off that bandwagon. But their goal is to produce 1 book a year. To get that published, 1 book a year. With Rowling, the books gained a popularity that she was not expecting. And as a result, she became under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Definitely by the 5th and 6th book. A lot of pressure to get these done on time.
And she kept the book kept getting bigger and bigger.
They did. They kept getting thicker and thicker, which was kind of amusing. Except for the 6th one. The 6th one is actually shorter than the 5th one.
Oh, really?
It is. But...
Is that the Half-Blood Prince?
Yes.
Okay.
But so, if you read through all of the books in a week, you read a book a week, or to that effect, you would notice minor, but still there, inconsistencies. Someone is not in the same class that they were in before, the hair color is different, stuff like that. But those are really minor things.
Yeah.
When you think about things like... Don't hit me. When you think about things like the Star Wars prequels, and how it seemed like Lucas kind of forgot some of the things that he did in the original trilogy. For instance, there's a great scene in Return of the Jedi where Luke and Leia are talking, and Luke asks Leia if she remembers her real mother. And, you know, she said, oh, just a little bit. She died when I was very young. She was very kind and beautiful, but very sad. Now, if you watch the prequels... Padme dies in childbirth.
So Leia has a really good memory.
Luke, not so much. You know, it's just kind of like...
And also, Padme was very kind in childbirth.
Right, and it's just...
Oh, that's like, a cute little knitted or crocheted or knitted.
It's crochet, baby.
Crocheted Easter basket.
It is. It's very cute.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good.
And there's no way that I can, at this point...
superimpose
get it over to the screen. One day the plan is to have things set up so that like any images on Twitter or whatnot, I'll be able to pull up a screen and we can just go through.
Look at them
once we actually have viewers beyond my parents.
Yeah. But so the point that I'm trying to make is that even in Patricia Briggs' books, and she tries to produce a book a year, she has a little bit... I think her tendency now, what she's trying to do is it's an on-off thing. So this year in March, she published a book for the Alpha and Omega series, which is a sister series to the Mercy Thompson series that she's also writing. And it seems like she's trading off. So this year was Alpha and Omega, and next year presumably will be Mercy Thompson, and then Alpha and Omega, Mercy Thompson, that kind of stuff. But even if you were to reread her books, which I've done recently, there are a few errors. There's actually one even major error, which was very strange to me. But at one point there was a sentence, and I reread it about 3 times. I was like, it said that Charles was older than Sam. And I'm like...
That's not right.
No, he's not. He is not by... Good Lord. By quite a bit. But... So that was really weird. But other little things, little continuities that don't really add up. But what I love about Butcher... in the Dresden series is that he is extremely familiar with the story and even the details in the story. So he does make very clear, not very clear, but his continuity is done very, very well. Things that happened, even little things that have happened a few books ago, may get referenced again or may even be a major plot point. So that's what I really, really like about Butcher. And with Blood Rites, again, the writing is getting much better. I got really sucked into this one, hence I was actually able to finish it this week. But like, you want to read it, you want to see what's going to happen. And while Harry is still not the most likable character, the cast has grown. And now, we've got Thomas in it, and we've got Laura in it, now we've got Mouse, who's just adorable, and he's going to get into all sorts of shenanigans.
And even though the cast is huge, with the Fallen, with just everything, you still kind of know who everyone is. Everyone's kind of characterized.
Absolutely. When someone mentions the Alphas, you know that they're talking about the Werewolf Pack.
And you can, think of, even if you don't remember their names, you can think of at least 2, maybe 3 personalities out there.
Yeah, you can definitely think of Billy, who's very much the alpha of the Alpha Pack. Obviously, his girlfriend, Georgia. Again, you may not remember the names. We remember the redhead who was kind of plump and overweight and stuff, and then later on...
Because, running around fighting bad guys.
Yeah, in a later book, not this one, but later on at some point, we'll meet her again, and she's much more svelte. She's grown into herself. All her baby fat has, run away. Has melted off, and, she's now this formidable vexen woman, you know, kind of a thing, which is just, it's a nice nod to the details.
Or even like all the kind of unimportant characters, like everyone at the studio where Dresden was protecting everyone. Almost all of them have kind of unique, well done characters.
They seem to be characters that Jim Butcher has definitely put thought into. What are they like?
Like Jake.
Like Jake.
Like, we know who Jake is. I mean, not completely, because he's not a main character. Or, you know,
but he was nice. He, you know, he helped. He was good. But you know, at the same time, there was a bit of because I didn't remember everything in this book, and I was like, is he one of the bad guys? I can't remember now. But of course he wasn't. And it's because at the end of the book, you know, Harry feels so sad, and so does everyone else, because Emma is dead. She's left 2 children, and you're just like these poor kids. And Jake's like, well, you know I'm not the best father figure in the world, but I wouldn't go so far as to call them orphans. And you're like, holy shit, he's their dad!
Yeah.
And they're not orphans, you know? It's like, I mean, they never got, I don't think they got married or they got divorced or whatever, but now at least the custody will pass. They weren't living together.
I thought, the way I interpreted it was that Jake adopted them after Emma died. Like, he did the paperwork to adopt them immediately. I didn't realize they were...
No, they're his.
Do we actually know that?
Yeah, he says that they're his. Because he wanted a family and so did she, but when they had kids, they were just like, well, let's see here.
I missed all of that.
Jake joined us, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay, Harry says, I feel for her kids. I've done the orphan thing. It sucks. Jake nodded. I don't know how they'll get on without their mom. Not like I have much experience either, but I can't be such a lousy father that they qualify as orphans. I blinked for a second and said, you wanted to settle down once, you said. And he says, yeah, but Emma decided she wouldn't have me.
Okay.
So
I missed that line.
Yeah, so the way I interpreted it is that they had gotten married and they did try, they had kids, they stayed together for at least a few years, and then Emma was like, you know what, not working.
Or not necessarily got married, but tried to have children. We don't know if they actually, because, you know, a lot of people don't get married even though they're together.
Right. Yeah, or maybe they were together and they had some kids, but they didn't end up getting married.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. She wouldn't have me, something like that.
But yeah, it definitely comes across that he's their biological father.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's nice that at least there's a little bit of that silver lining.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't related to them at all, and him being Jake swooped in to adopt them immediately because, I thought they were like coworkers and friends, and like he was like, okay, well, the children know me. I need to, I want them to still be in like familiar company. Yeah. But no, he's their biological dad, so that changes things in my mind.
So, but it's little things like that. You want some more tea, babe?
Yes, please.
So it's ooh.
Don't make a mess.
Well, I like this teapot, but the lid doesn't really stay on.
Oh, that's not a good thing for a teapot.
I know. Well, it's one of those cast iron teapots, so you see, it doesn't really have like a hook or anything. It's just got the grooves.
Huh.
Anyway, so we got about 10 minutes left. So yeah, this was a big book. A lot happens in this book. A lot of significant things.
We also get, in talking about characters again, going right back to where we were, so we can't move on. Mm-hmm. Murphy gets a lot more characterization. Like even from the beginning, we kind of knew who Murphy was. And we were watching her. This is when she starts getting good as a character.
Yes.
We start seeing her interacting with her family. We start seeing her more three-dimensional.
We learn that her father was a member of the Black Cat Detectives. And what that basically was basically the Special Investigations back in the day.
Yeah.
She didn't know that, but her mom knew that. So her mom knows that she's going out and doing all this stuff and was very kind to Harry, and she was like, are you going to take care of my daughter? Because she knows what they're getting into, and he's like, I will take care of your daughter.
But yeah, so she doesn't want Murphy to know that she knows about all the evils in the world.
Right.
So that Murphy wouldn't worry about her.
Exactly. So it's, because at first you're kind of like, oh, Mama Murphy gonna lay the smack down. But she's actually very, very sweet, and we get to see that kindness, and we get to see Murphy, we've seen her in a kind of a vulnerable state, but this brings a different level to it. And again, it's nice to get to know her a little bit more. Okay.
1, 4, and 3.
Yeah. So it's really nice to see her family. It was kind of, I guess it was, I don't know how to describe how we found out that her little sister is marrying her ex-husband. That was, from my perspective, it's funny because it's fictional, I guess.
Yeah.
If that happened in real life, you'd be like, but I think it's kind of a funny little twist, in my opinion. But and her family is huge. The Clan Murphy, they're taking over the whole section of the park.
Mom's laughing about Murphy in a yellow dress, or
yes,
mention Murphy in a yellow dress.
Yes, we get to see Murphy in a dress, and Harry's just like,
what is this?
And he's like, you look good in a dress, and she's like, shut up. But her mom made the dress, so she's trying to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot of fun to see a little bit more with Murphy. Now, next book, I can't remember if we get a lot of Murphy in the next book. We get a lot more Butters in the next book, and it's gonna be fun. Because that's what I was, like, halfway through, I was reading, and I wrote in my notes, I was like, wait, is this the book where Harry gets his hand burned? Because in the next book, in Dead Beat, we open up going to see Butters. Now, Butters is, of course, a mortician. He's not like a doctor. He talks about, he's like,
an active doctor.
Yeah, he's like, I don't deal with living people, and he's like, why are you coming to me? But next book, he takes some x-rays and we learn some interesting things about Harry in the next book. But the next book's just going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, that's why we're not getting to it for
I know.
months. You're probably going to try and just read it anyways. You already said that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and read it because it's a fun book. Hopefully before I do that, I will finish Summer Night in Death Mask because I need to.
But first, you have to read weekly books.
Yes. So yes. Blood Rites, great book. Sixth book in the series. So we're...
What was the last book?
Before this one, Death Masks.
Okay, yeah, that was... Yeah, I would say this book is like the first of the really good books, and they kind of stay increasing in quality.
This is where, like, Death Masks was kind of a darker book. Didn't end great with one of the Knights of the Cross, and all that jazz. But this book...
It was well written, but yeah.
But this book is when things don't lighten up, but we get more of that touch of humor that Harry Dresden is sort of known for a little bit more. And this, in my opinion, is when things get fun. It's, again, things don't lighten up and a lot of shit's gonna go down, but there's gonna be that comic twist to it where it's gonna keep you reading. So...
Oh.
What'd she say?
Mom wanted to smack down the little sister with, have to take Karen's leftovers since you can't get your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karen also wanted to smack.
Mm-hmm. Lisa is very annoying. Luckily, I don't think we see her again. I'm having difficulty remembering more of Murphy's clan coming back later.
Murphy continues having to deal with it.
Oh,
and we know that's kind of going on in the background, but...
So again, it's another great insight into her character that we get to see and we get to recognize.
And Murphy's willing to start going slightly more on the vigilante.
Yes.
Pardon my
Sometimes
accent.
Paul goes funny.
Rude.
Yeah. But so anyway, yes, we get Karen is a little bit more relaxed when it comes to certain things. Because especially, after Summer Night, I believe, now she knows more about Harry. She understands what's going on with the White Council. She understands about all these different vampire breeds. She knows a little bit more about what's going on. which means she feels she can trust Harry more.
Yeah.
Which is great, because that's going to help out a lot later on. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and Harry actually went to ask for help before going to do things this time.
Dude,
what?
he made a plan, and he assembled a team.
I mean, what? Who is this guy?
Anyway. So yes, great book. Lots of things happen. You can see why I definitely made the plan of this is the book that I got to read in its entirety. You know, even though I didn't finish Summer Night, a lot of things happened in Summer Light. We had Elaine and stuff like that, and in Death Masks, a lot of things happened as well with La Chielle and all that, or the coin, whatever. But
this is where the world kind of starts tying together,
right? You know, because we got Thomason on it, we got Ebenezer, more about him, more about Margaret Le Fay. We've got, you know, his hand is burnt except for this sigil, and that he's slinging hellfire around. You know, Bob made notice. He was like, did you know you're doing this thing?
And as much as we say, you know, book 6 is where it starts getting super good, you do need all the previous books to build up that huge cast. Yes. Because if you tried to introduce this... Like, if this was the first book, it would not work.
It would not work. There's too much. You know, even to say, this is where things start to get fun, and this is where the reading gets faster because everything gets a little bit more intense. You needed the first 5 for the build-up.
Yeah.
To realize what, you know, everything that's going on, who we're dealing with, why we're dealing with them, and what's going to happen down the line. And
when Ebenezer and Kincaid look at each other and start going for their guns... all of a sudden your mind like explodes into all these different possibilities.
Yeah.
You're like, oh gosh, what's about to happen?
It's huge.
Because the world is so big at this point that when 2 desperate parts meet and interact and something's going on, you're like, oh what?
Yeah. So this is...
Yes.
This is where things start to get interesting. So yes, Blood Rites.
Love Karen's motorcycle breaking physics.
Yes, Karen's motorcycle. It's funny. But yes, the whole breaking physics thing, because Harry uses the staff and everything. A great scene.
Even though he goes into so much detail about how you can't break physics, it's just manipulating things. It's like, yeah, but...
Yeah, but you did. But
it's like...
magic.
Good attempt at, you know, explaining.
It's magic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes. Lots of fun. Things only get more fun from here on out. More interesting and more...
more Harry Dresden.
More Harry Dresden. More of that sarcastic son of a gun. The gun being Margaret Le Fay, who is a pretty intimidating weapon, let me tell you right now.
True.
So,
okay.
Next week, we have a fan recommendation, for lack of a better term.
Fan recommendation, it's true. We are doing the first of the Keepers series, Summon the Keeper by Tanya Huff. There's a kitty in it, apparently.
Kitties.
Neither of us have read this yet. But
Osiris hasn't made an appearance.
I know he hasn't. Osiris! But this is come recommended from my mother. It's a trilogy.
Osiris!
So we will give this a shot, adding this into the short story slot.
Short story slot?
Yeah.
Well, how many? Because there's a trilogy, you said?
Yes. So there's a, short series slot, I should say.
Is there actually only 3 books?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like modern trilogies that have a trilogy plus an extra.
Yes, or like Hitchhikers, increasingly misnamed.
Increasingly inaccurately named Hitchhikers trilogy.
Osiris!
So that is going to be next week, I do believe. Here, let me... Oh my god, everything's wrong.
I'm gonna go get him because he has to put in an appearance.
Okay, he has to put in an appearance. I'm going to look at schedule to make sure I'm not telling dates wrong. But yeah, this will be next week. It's about the same. Probably about the same word count per page for about the same number of pages as the Dresden books. So should go pretty quickly. And here we go. Do I have... Yes, spin a yarn knife. Admin. Ooh, jeez.
Sorry, I almost spilled the tea. I have a stylist.
Okay, yes. So, Summon the Keeper will be March 31st. That will be next week. And then, April 7th will be the next series, or the next episode, which will be...
the One Piece arc.
Well, to date.
To date. Well, look. So this is the one that we keep talking about. This is Nami's arc.
Yes.
This is if you read through and then you get here and you read through this and you're still not crying your freaking eyes out, this series isn't for you.
Yeah. And there are future arcs that are just as good as this one.
Yes.
But because this one is the first, this is the one that we always talk about because this is like the quintessential what One Piece is.
Absolutely.
Altogether.
This really shows you what kind of a person Luffy is, and it shows you what kind of people he wants on his crew, and his loyalty, and how much he cares for his crew.
And just look at that serious face.
He's so uber serious. Yes. Despite the fact that he is, at this point in time, the youngest member of the crew, he and Usopp are about the same age. Yeah. We're not sure if one's older than the other. The idea is that they're both 17. We're not sure if one of them's a few months older or whatever. But despite the fact that he's one of the younger members of the crew, what he will do to protect his crew.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they think, because this is Nami's arc, as we said, we know she's a thief, and we know that doesn't consider herself a pirate, and has basically said that her partnership with Luffy and his crew is a temporary one. This is where we realize that when Luffy says you're part of his crew, you are part of his crew.
There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, and... Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those are if you're reading on a chapter-based location, it is chapters 69 to 95.
Chapter-based location.
And if you're buying the manga in the volumes, it's volumes 8 through 11.
Through 11, that's right. We need to get the other one.
Yeah.
We've already placed our order for the 11th book, so it should be on the way.
And then for the future, we've looked at the upcoming arcs and whatnot, and we're going to do each episode at about 30 chapters an episode, which means we have a lot of...
Yes, Elaine has made the point that March 31st is Easter weekend, but it's the Saturday before Easter, so we will probably still have our episode. I did talk to my dad today. Obviously, we'll be going over on Sunday for Easter Sunday.
Okay.
But I don't think there's going to be anything going on Saturday.
But of course, if you're in Mass or something, feel free to skip us and watch us later.
When he says Mass, he doesn't mean Catholic Mass. He means Massachusetts. I assume you mean Massachusetts. I mean, I know you raised Paul Catholic, but I don't think you still attended.
I don't know. That's an ambiguous text.
It is ambiguous.
Anyways, should we dress up Osiris as a big Easter egg? Or as a bunny? He has the bunny butt. We need to get some sort of hat for him that has the bunny ears.
Aww, no. He's a good boy. Yes.
We need to paint his nails in pastels.
We're not painting Osiris's nails. He wouldn't allow us anyway. He only allows me to cut his nails because I give him treats afterwards if he stays still. Or I give him catnip.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't really see your parents going to Mass. I just don't. I can't see your dad sitting there for an hour and a half.
No, it was usually my mom dragging me. She's typing.
Oh.
That's what it says.
I'm sorry.
Mom is typing. Stop messing with my phone.
Okay.
My brand new phone.
Your brand new phone. Yes, that he's already cracked. We both got new phones, and the first thing I did was order a case off of Amazon because it was green. It wasn't the green I was hoping it was going to be, but at least it was green. And,
so Mom wants us to switch Keeper with One Piece. So that, we do One Piece when she cannot watch it live.
Oh.
And then do Keeper. I mean, we have one fan family.
So, I guess. I mean, yeah, since at the moment, Elaine and Bill are the only fans we're having to bend to at all. We can switch him. I don't mind going ahead and reading One Piece now.
Okay, so, next week on March 31st, One Piece.
We'll do One Piece. And then
on April 7th will be the Keeper series.
Yes, before we run away for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What
is that going to do with our...
Our next episode won't be until...
Oh, that's...
Skip that one and that one. So we're only going to miss 2 weeks. Unless we broadcast from the hotel. Can we broadcast from the hotel?
We might be able to.
We'll let you know on the Twitters and the Reddits and the...
I mean...
Not the Facebooks. We need a Facebook page.
True. Our plan... Or I've planned it out so that we get through the Akita volumes for when that movie comes out.
Speaking of which, we did not see A Wrinkle in Time. Although, I've read a few reviews online and they're not... Nobody's terribly pleased. It's very pretty to look at, apparently.
Yeah.
But, the whole thing... I was telling Paul before we started the episode, the whole thing with Charles Willis being basically a 4-year-old genius. How are you supposed to cast that?
Yeah.
It's hard to do. You can get a 4-year-old, or you can get a child actor who looks close enough like a 4-year-old.
You know who you cast? Young... Oh, what's his face? The brother of the actor who played Boy Meets World.
Oh, Savage. Not Fred Savage. Fred Savage was the main guy. His real-life brother... I don't remember his name.
But he's the kid from Princess Bride.
Fred Savage is the kid from Princess Bride, not his brother.
Okay, yeah, so him.
Yeah.
Because in everything he appeared as a kid, he always talked and acted like an adult.
That's true.
But then, half those movies, the adults around him acted like children. Was it, North? Was North the...
North.
Or
no,
was
that
it,
was Elijah Wood.
Oh, then it was... California. Was it that one?
The Wizard.
Was that the one?
The Wizard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where Fred Savage was in?
Ben Savage. Ben Savage is the kid by Boy Meets World. Fred Savage is his brother.
Okay.
Ben Savage is the one
anyways,
more willing.
Fred Savage, reduce him down to 4 years old, he could probably play. But you
Savage.
But yeah, there's very rarely are you going to find a 4-year-old who can have
like
all the mannerisms and all the vocabulary, even given the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Being able to
articulate it. Yeah.
It's just a weird character.
It's a weird character, and he put in his mandatory appearance. I suppose I'll let him go.
Okay.
But so yeah, we haven't seen the movie yet. Although everybody I've talked to at work, if they've seen a Black Panther, the Marvel's movie, if they saw it once, they've already seen it a second time.
Mm.
So we need to go see it.
We do need to go see it.
D'Angelo, I think, is going for a 3rd or 4th time this weekend. But he's a huge movie buff.
Yeah. We're so behind on our Marvel.
We are extremely behind. We haven't even seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 yet.
Nope. Or Thor Ragnarok.
Seen Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther. I haven't even seen a preview for the next Avengers one coming out.
Yeah. I've seen memes about the preview, but not preview.
Oh, yeah. The one with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, because Spider-Man introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker." He goes, "Oh, hey, I'm Doctor Strange." "Oh, we're using our superhero names. I'm Spider-Man."
Well, no, because the meme is like, "Oh, we're using our made-up names. I'm Spider-Man."
Yeah, made-up names or superhero name, whatever.
Because I think, wasn't Strange his actual...
Yeah, Strange is his name.
And he is a doctor, so it's his real name.
It's his real name. I mean, we have a client at the bank, his last name is Strange.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yes. Anyway, we're over
Before the
our
puns
hour mark, of course.
So next week, the best One Piece arc.
Yes.
Even if you haven't been reading with us, I highly suggest reading these chapters and/or finding a way to watch the anime, the Funimation anime of these.
I've not read the manga up to this point. I of course know the anime, so I'll be interested to see if there are any changes made to particular scenes. Do not watch the 4Kids entertainment version.
Did they even get up this far?
Yes, they did.
Oh no.
They absolutely did. Because there is a scene that was supposed to have a gun and someone uses a shovel instead. And it's definitely not as potent. And, of course, the scene with Nami's mom is cut shorter because, well, it's cut shorter. So, yes. If you are ever interested in reading One Piece, do read this one. remember, 11 as well. We only have these up to these 3.
And it looks like you can access it, I think, it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
You can access it, I think, for free on Funimation.com. They have
Funimation or Toonami.
563. Maybe they only go back to 563.
Maybe.
So they might not. There are places to find it just in case you are curious. You did say Hulu. That's the wrong. Buttons. One Piece arcs. So the episodes for Arlong Park is episodes 31 to 44.
Yeah.
So only 14 episodes. It's not bad.
It's only 14 episodes? Jeez, it feels so much longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't forget, 12 episodes is a normal anime season.
That's
like
true.
half season.
That's true. Anyways. Thank you for joining us. Blood Rites, wonderful book. This is where things get fun. Start to get fun.
Looking forward to the next Dresden book. Which I didn't bring in, but
that's okay. Deadbeat. It's not for a while. One Piece, gonna be awesome sauce. And then Summon the Keeper, we shall see. This is gonna be a brand new series for the both of us. We don't know what's gonna happen with it, so hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us. Do go to olivefusion.com and check out what they got. Delicious teas, great olive oils, great balsamic vinegars. Go look at it. It's wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
How do I do this again? No. Yes, thank you. See you next time. Click. Click.
Just staring like a zombie.